lie to the court and have children removed in their best interest. Yeah, right. I tell you, if ever there was an evil group of people creating social engineering and eugenics like the Nazis did, there would have to be Oranga Tamariki. You know, we keep an eye on you guys pretty hard, and we notice that in the yearly report, it no longer lists the number of complaints in the report, where it has done that recently for a number of years. We also know now that the complaint system, which Howard Ward, a police commissioner, did a report on in 2010, is no longer a complaint system and is a feedback system. You're a lawless pack of shits. And Calvin, we've watched the cock-up that you've done in corrections. Don't think we're going to allow you to get away with it in Oranga Tamariki. Now your brother's a judge. I've actually sat in on 3 or 4 of his cases in Kaiko, and I thought to myself, that's a good judge. That was a fair judge. Let's hope that you start showing the leadership that's required to operate with the same integrity as your brother is. Because Ronnie Moss was never going to survive. And some of the other senior management that are manipulating the abuses in collusion with the New Zealand pigsty are just as bad. And I'm really honest about the criminal activities going on with the bureaucracy in New Zealand because I've been on the receiving end of it. Fabricating evidence on my national intelligence database. Withholding evidence. You're just a pack of bullies. You're not open and transparent. You're just a clever bunch of dicks. And eventually, people will create civil disobedience because you cannot get away with children dying in the care of the government. You cannot get away with 60% of the children being physically or sexually abused in state care. You cannot have false allegations put on parents. You know, I recently was in Auckland and Pukekohe, and a young Maori mother had the police and a Chinese social worker, child protection officer, come to do an investigation. That police officer read the woman her Miranda rights, which is her right to say nothing under the Bill of Rights. And if you look at that video, all he did was try and entrap that woman into saying something that would allow Oranga Tamariki and the New Zealand police to justify their job. It didn't happen. And it was an allegation which was anonymous. So that means that anybody in New Zealand who doesn't like someone and wants to be vengeful can go and make an allegation anonymously about a child being abused and the suffering that that family may be harmed is not good enough. But even when notifications are made and they're honest, the New Zealand police and Oranga Tamariki lie about it. And I say lie. What a corrupt, sophisticated design balls up that we've got. And then we go to court And the judiciary is supposed to be independent of the state, but it's not. It supports the ministries, like the New Zealand Police, like Oranga Tamariki, and it's a David and Goliath situation for a civilian to take on the might and power by using our taxpayers' money against us. That just isn't justice.
How is it lawful? Destroying their future. Children that go into care, end up in the prisons. 60% or more of our prison system is children that were in state care. How proud are you of your job? Get a real job! How can you sleep at night when you have to lie and deceive and make false accusations of parents just so you can take children to get your good bonuses? Yeah, it's all nice, eh? All that green bling bling. All about the pūtea. That's all you care about, not one bloody child. The children that do need protection, where are you for them? Because we always see them in the news, and you never did anything about those kids. But you take the kids from loving families, loving parents, because you know that we will fight for our kids. So it's a hell of a profit ring for you. You people disgust me. You should all be behind bars, and that's me putting it moderately. I think a lot worse. In fact, I really think you guys should suffer the internal pain that the parents do. I mean, how would you like it if we came and took your children? That's if any of you are parents. What about you? Renu Anand, I called you when you came in charge of my case. You said 2 weeks you would contact me to try and sort some sort of, access to my girls, and you check on them because of my concerns. Because I know they're being abused. They're fucked. I'm sorry for swearing, but how can an 8-year-old end up in mental health and addiction services if she's private? How can an 8-year-old be getting UTIs regularly? What's happening to her? Because it's not common for a girl of 8 years old to be getting UTIs. And what about my daughter, 5 years old, having 2nd and 3rd degree burns to her inner thighs? There was no accident. And no, I wasn't allowed any medical information. And even when the lawyers requested it, they still don't get it. Do you think that you can get away with your crimes forever? Because you know what? There's karma, and there's a saying, for the sins of the mother or the sins of the father fall upon the children. So maybe you'll get away with it. Your children and their children and their children will have to pay for the karma that you created, your evil, for your corruption. And then when it comes that you lose an entire family line, so be it. Because your type of people, corrupt and evil, well, you don't deserve to breathe. And that's my opinion. Because if you can do this to children, God forbid what you could do to an adult. Let me ask you again, how do you sleep at night? Because I'll tell you what, I sure as hell couldn't even try to shut my eyes if I did the things you guys did. It's utterly disgusting. And you think that you can drain and make parents kill themselves? Because this is what it is. It's premeditated murder. It's absolutely genocide. Not only to the parents, but the suicide rates for a country this size. Why do you think that is? Because of our state care. I mean, the prison system is enough to tell us why. What sort of life do they have? That they end their life in prison, most of their life in prison, because you took them into care from their loving families. Sure, there are families that need help. Then goddamn help them. Then bloody destroy them. Sure, there are bad parents. But you don't help those parents. You don't even get involved with those parents because they're not going to fight back for their children. So what is the bonus scheme now? $1,000 per child, $100,000 per child per office. If you reach your quotas. What is it these days? I don't know. It's been a while since I protested. It's been a while since I did research. I mean, gee, my family got $6,800 when my children arrived. It's there in my file. And that doesn't include the $1,500 for the furniture, the $800 for clothing, and the $400 for food. And that's why you know how to play the families to turn them against each other. You get the families, you use their families, you make sure you find people with conflict to support your cause. My poor children, I have a son who's 16. And the audacity to even try to think of sending him to Thailand. Well, special needs don't apply when you want to send him to Thailand. Oh, suddenly he's okay, suddenly he can handle a hell of a long trip like that. Suddenly he's not afraid of everything. Suddenly he can take change because you want to take him to Thailand. What's going to happen to him when he gets to Thailand? He'll never bloody come back. How stupid do you think? And you're not going to vaccinate my kids. I said it once and I'll say it again. You dare vaccinate my kids and I will prosecute you. The process of looking into prosecuting each and every single individual I've had contact with that did nothing. You think you'll put me in the ground? I survived cancer. Yeah, I lost everything. I had to have a radical hysterectomy. I can't have children anymore. Thank you very frickin' much. But I'm still here fighting for the kids. Think that you can do this through families and get away with it? Well, as parents that love our children, we will fight and be brave. We will fight. You people are behind bars. We will fight until karma comes. Held accountable for your crime. And yes, it's a crime. Because if you have to lie and cheat to have children in care, then they never should have been in care in the first place. If you told the truth, you wouldn't get those 101s, would you? But no, lie and cheat. Wonder if that's how you lie a lot. You lie and cheat and deceive everybody in your life. Do you lie and cheat on your husbands and wives? Do you lie and cheat to your brother and sister? Or do you tell them at your family dinner, I save the children, I protect the children, I have a good job, it's hard, but I do my best. I bet you bloody don't tell them. Bet you're too ashamed to tell them I had to lie and cheat. I had to lie about a parent to take their children away because I want some more greens. I want that money. You should not have got a rise in your pay, but that's That's our government. Protect the criminals, the pedophiles. But you know what? People are waking up fast, real fast. For each one of us here, there is 10 more behind us, if not more, that stand behind us and fighting for their kids as well. Not everybody can make it to these protests, but they tried. So I'm telling you, again, Renu, Anand, do your job! Because you're on my list now of prosecution.